everybody, this is Laura at Busy Bee Farms, and today is canning day here on our farm, and we are trying to get caught up on all the things that we have harvested over the last week in our gardens. And it has been a lot of tomatoes, a lot of cucumbers, a lot of peppers, squash, okra, things like that. Today, however, we're just going to talk about our tomatoes. And we have harvested a lot of tomatoes, and we like to turn that into salsa. Salsa is very versatile, and you can use that for your chips just to dip in. You can put it in your soups. You can do lots of things with it just because of the vegetables and things in the tomato base that it is. And so that's what we're going to do a lot of. And so we're going to do that today, and we wanted to bring you along. A few things though before we get started. I heard about a canning book. And so I ordered it, and I absolutely love it. Just like all the other people that I've heard use this book, they absolutely love this book. And it is the Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving. And this salsa recipe comes out of here. Now, the other day, I know that my pickle recipe was from a magazine. They do have pickle recipes in here I've not tried yet. I probably will. But the salsa recipes I have tried, and we have found one that we love, and we like it very, very much. But this is a great investment for someone who has a garden, big or small. This is a great investment to know how to preserve everything correctly. And the recipes, of course, as well. So you can check this out on Amazon. That's where I bought this book. They have just a paper bag. This one's a hard binder, and inside has the spiral ring notebook part of it as well. So that actually helps kind of keep it from bending and things like that. So I absolutely love this book, and this is where the recipe comes from for today. I actually combined two recipes. In the very beginning of the book, it talks about a house salsa recipe, and so I took a couple of the ingredients from that and mixed it with the other recipe that I typically use, which is the zesty salsa recipe. So here is that recipe. We'll link that. We'll put that in the description so you know exactly what we add and everything today, so you'll be able to look that up. But that's what I'm doing today. We've been busy doing a lot of chopping and things like that, because I know you guys don't want to sit and watch us do tons of chopping. You want to see the recipe so that you can make it. One of the things that we use to chop up all of our bell peppers and things like that is one of these chop wizards. I got this a long time ago, never really used it until now, when we have all this coming in from the garden, but it's perfect. It has these little blades inside that you can take out and put back in, and so it chops everything up evenly, as you see those squares right there. The lid goes on, and you put your vegetable. I kind of slice my vegetables down, and then just you push down on it, and then all your vegetables go down here. It actually has a measuring on the side, so you know 1-2 cups, so forth. And so it's very, very handy. Like I said, I got this a long time ago. I'm sure you can find something similar to this anywhere. So that's good to have. And so I'm going to get a few things together, and then we'll get started. Okay, everyone, so the first step is to get your tomatoes peeled, cored and peeled. And David has been working this morning to help me do all of those things. So he helped core the tomatoes, and we have those ready right over here. And so we are going to get these into our boiling water. We're going to take a few at a time. And I have a basket that came with like a fish fryer of ours or something like that. I can't remember exactly. We may have bought it separately. I don't remember. But it works great. And it helps me just put that down in the hot water. So I have a pot of hot water. I got almost to boiling, basically. And you want to submerge your tomato down in there and then it just kind of rolls around in the hot water, and it will loosen the skin so that you can, when you take it out of the hot water, you place it into ice water to stop the cooking, and then the peel comes right off, and it really absolutely works. You can tell that it's ready. You'll just kind of start seeing it kind of bubble, or not bubble, but kind of mush up on the side, and two, you'll sometimes see it crack. The edges will start to crack when you know that it's ready. And so we will take this over here and put it in our ice water, and then David will roll that around there, and then the skins just peel right off. And also, when we're coring the tomatoes is a good time to cut out any other bad spots or things like that. And so when you dip them, once the skin comes off, they're completely ready. That one could have used a few more seconds, it looks like. But we are going to get a few more over here, get some more of our tomatoes. And we'll put those down in the water. And once you get going, you can add several more at a time. Like this one right here, you can see that the skin's already starting to come off of it. So we know that that is absolutely ready to come out. And we just dunk it there.
Fingers are slick, I can't grab hold of it.
But then the skin just comes right off, and there they are. There's those tomatoes. So
I really like the canning tomatoes because you can just grab hold of it and squeeze the skin, and it shoots right out. Of course, I did that backwards.
All right, so we are going to finish peeling our tomatoes, and then when we come back, we'll let you see the next step of chopping everything as far as the tomatoes go, and then being able to mix everything to get ready.
Hey guys, so this is a new thing that we just got in. A lady that I work with was telling me about it, that this is how she does all of her chopping. And it works similar to a food processor, but it's hand operated, so it doesn't over chop your stuff. And you can feel kind of how it is. So as you can see, it just kind of dices it up. It's got 3 blades that you hand spin in there, and on the side of it, it has the measuring cup on here. So she told me keep it about half full, so that's just over 2 cups of diced tomatoes that we're putting in.
Oh, that one still needs some.
That one.
Yeah, there's a couple of chunks in there. We're still trying to figure out exactly what.
We just got this in.
Yes.
And I ordered it based on her telling me that, you know, it was what she uses and likes. So we've been using that Vidalia onion wizard chopper, and it does really good. It cubes them up. It has that bigger blade that goes in it, but this one, like I said, this is the first time that we've used it, and it does pretty good. You can kind of feel when the stuff is chopped up. So it looks like to me it's doing a good job.
Yeah. So that's the next step to our salsa, is chopping up all the tomatoes. We have cored them and peeled them, and now we're just chopping them up. And the recipe calls for 10 cups of diced tomatoes, which I think we're about there. I think we might do just a few, like a couple more cups, and I think that will be our 10 cups. And then we'll add the rest of the ingredients. Okay, so now it's time to add the rest of our ingredients. And like I said, we have been chopping up vegetables all morning long, and David has been helping to do that using the Chop Wizard. He works and does that very well, better than I do. And so we have all of our ingredients here. We have our onions. These are our onions that we grew and this year. And then this is bell peppers. A good bit of them are ones that we grew, but we did have to buy some because ours did not produce enough for this amount of tomatoes. And then these are the jalapenos that we grew this year, and they are wonderful. I made some salsa a week ago and we used those, and it adds the flavor of the jalapenos, but it does not add the heat at all, and so it is really, really, really wonderful. And then over here are our jalapenos that we did grow. All of these I grew from seed to plant to now harvest and ready for our salsa. So the next step is to add our bell peppers, and we are going to add 5 cups of bell peppers. So I'm going to measure this out. I'm going to measure it out here. I'm going to go get another scoop so that I can measure this out a little bit better because our bowl is so full. Okay, so I have put 2 cups of bell peppers, and we're just going to walk over here. We're going to dump that in with our tomatoes, and now we need to get another 2 cups. So that's 4, so we need 1 more cup. And I think I'm going to just set you guys up over here instead of continuing to walk you guys around the kitchen, which may, for some people when you watch videos, can make you a little dizzy. So I'm going to sit you up right here. I think you can still see as I head over to the stove. So I'm going to do 1 more cup. Alright, so that is 5 cups of sweet bell pepper. And then we need 5 cups of onions. And then it calls for 2.5 cups of whatever other pepper that you want, like a jalapeno pepper or banana pepper. We're going to use the jalapenos because this batch of salsa is completely mild. It has a salsa taste, but no heat to it whatsoever. So we're going to do our jalapenos. for this batch. We will be using our other jalapenos. Oh, and I forgot to say, in that mix with the hot peppers is serrano peppers. We did, those did grow as well. So there is the 2.5 cups of jalapenos that we are going to add. And now we need to add like our liquids. So we're going to add our cider vinegar and our garlic, and then some cilantro and salt. So now we're ready to add our apple cider vinegar, and we are going to add 1 1/4 cup into our mixture here. And then we need 3 cloves of garlic. So our garlic did not do well this year. I've never grown garlic. We tried it last year to plant it in the fall, but we never got a good harvest out of it. We had 1 garlic bulb come up, and it could have been just where we planted them. David had put some leaves on top of them after we planted it, and the leaves might have been too thick on there that they just did not do well. Whether it got really moist under there and they just rotted and molded and all of that and decomposed, I don't know, but we only had 1 plant pop up, which was okay. At least we got 1. But so I don't have our fresh garlic, and this is actually just minced garlic that I'm using because that's what I have on hand right now. So I'm just going to put that down in there, and then it calls for 2 tablespoons of cilantro, and I'm not using fresh cilantro. I tried to grow that and it did not do well, so if anybody has helpful hints on when and how to grow cilantro to do well and preserve it for salsas in the summertime, I would be interested to hear those things, because I would love to be able to grow everything I need to make my own salsa, minus of course the cider vinegar and those few little things like that. So so we're going to add the 2 tablespoons of cilantro, and then we need 1 tablespoon of salt. And remember I said that I kind of combined 2 recipes, and so with the 2 recipes, what is in addition to the zesty salsa is some cumin. We kind of like that spice in a lot of our salsa and Mexican dishes, and so I'm going to add a little bit of cumin. And then I'm also going to be adding a little bit of sugar, just to take out some of the acidic, some of the tartness and stuff that can be with your tomatoes. So I'm just going to add that. It doesn't really make it super sweet, it just has a hint of sweetness to it, and we kind of like that. So I'm going to add that. I'm going to position you here so maybe you can see that without falling too crazy. There we go. Maybe that'll work. Okay, so the cumin is going to be 1.5 teaspoons. Of the cumin, and then we're going to add a 1/4 cup of sugar, and I think my sugar bowl is out, so if you'll hang on with me, then I will get our sugar. Okay, so we are going to add the sugar. I was trying to do that and the GoPro fell and my measuring cup just fell right in here, but here's the sugar. Learning how to do videos of recipes is definitely an art, so bear with me, guys. It is definitely different. So I've added the sugar. And so in the recipe, if you do get the book, in the recipe it calls for some hot sauce. But like I said, we are keeping this salsa very mild because we don't want any heat at all. So I'm not adding any hot sauce or anything to that. And so now I'm just going to stir this all around and get that all good and mixed up. And then you want to bring this to a boil. So we are going to turn our heat on, turn it up so we can get this to a boil to get it ready for the jars. Guys, so as you can see, the salsa has come to a rolling boil here, so it is just a bubbling. And so now you just want to reduce your heat just a little bit, kind of keep it to a gentle boil for about 10 minutes, and you'll notice your salsa start to thicken up and get ready. And after that is when it's ready to put into the jars. So since it is come to a boil, and now I'm going to reduce it to a gentle boil, then I'm going to let it process there, and then we'll pick up when we're putting it in the jars. All right, so our salsa has been boiling for 10 minutes. And then just kind of look at it, make sure that it's looking kind of thick to you. And it seems to be looking pretty good right there to us. So I'm going to start putting these in our jars. I have the pint-sized jars right here. I think the recipe says that it will make 6 pints. The other day when I did this, it actually ended up being 8 pints, and my water bath canner can do, I think, up to 9 pints. So that was totally fine with me. The more done at one time is great. So I'm going to just start putting this in my jars. Just a little too much in there. It calls for a 1/2 inch headspace, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get just a spoon, and hang on, Olivia. I'm just going to take the spoon and then just dish this out. And once you do this enough, you'll kind of get an idea of exactly where a 1/2 inch is. And so here is the tool that I use. It comes with the canning kit that I got, and the little stair step over here allows you to stick this on the edge of your jar. And there's a measurement on there for up to 1 inch headspace. And so we want a 1/2 inch. So I actually took out just a little more than I needed to. So David's going to add just a little bit here. There we go. That should be enough. Just a tad. There we go.
And just what I had on the scoop.
There we go. Yes, you estimated correctly. So there's a 1/2 inch headspace, and just like with everything else, we will get a towel to wipe off the rim. Can you hold that for me? We are going to wipe off the rim. And then we are going to add our lid. David's getting all our stuff for us. If you can grab it. Our lid right on there, and then our ring. We'll put our ring on there, and these jars are hot, but fingertip kind of tight, and then we're going to place that over here in our water bath canner, and that's it. That's exactly how we have made the salsa. We're going to continue to fill up these jars, and as soon as we get that done, then we will show you the next step. Okay, so we have all of the salsa into the jars. It ended up being 8 jars of salsa. So we are going to lower this down into the water. We are water bath canning these. That is what the recipe calls for. And you just want to make sure that the liquid is at least an inch above your water, and it is. So we're going to put the lid on. The lid I actually moved around over there, David. And then we're going to turn our heat up. We're going to wait for this to come to a boil, and then once it comes to a boil, then we will process them. I believe it is 15 minutes. I'm going to sit you right here for just a second. I believe in my book, yes, it processes for 15 minutes, and then once they are done processing in the water bath canner for the 15 minutes, then you will turn off your heat, remove your lid, wait another 5 minutes, and then you can take the jars out. And so when we get to that process, we will show you what they look like. All right, everybody. So the salsa jars have finished boiling, canning in the canner, and we have taken them out. We have placed them over here just on the counter. You want to take them out, just sit them on a counter. I usually put a towel down just because the jars are really hot. They do still have some water on the lids usually, which is fine. And then just leave them on a counter to seal. You will sometimes hear a pop, or you can look for the top lid right here to just kind of sunk down. Right now it has this little bevel over, and as it seals, that top will sink down, and so then you'll be able to feel, sometimes even hear it as well. But there was the pop. But just let them sit there overnight if you can. Sometimes, you know, I move them after about 8 to 12 hours is fine too. I've been fine with that. But that is our salsa. We are going to continue to make multiple batches today. We have 2 water bath canners that we're going to be using to get that done, so that we can have salsa for as long as it will last. I know Matthew's already been through 2 jars. He says it's wonderful, and he enjoys the salsa very much. So I hope that you guys will try this recipe. Get that canning book. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I would definitely recommend that. And I thank you for joining us today for this recipe that we love here at Busy Bee Farms. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button to join our channel, we encourage you to do that. We love having you to stop by and see what we're doing each and every day around our farm. If you are a subscriber, thank you very much for following us on this journey that we are trying to grow our own food and kind of live the farming and homestead life as much as we can. We hope that you have a great weekend, and thank you all so much for watching. Take care. God bless.